All right, so this is the Delphi web app that I have pulled up here. And I'll start out on the settings tab, because this is what you would see when you are first getting started with Delphi. So when you set up an account, it will bring you in here. And the first thing it'll do is prompt you to connect to your semantic layer. And so we support a few different types of semantic layers, including some BI tools like Looker and Metabase and Lightdash, as well as other headless semantic layers like Cube and the dbt Cloud semantic layer. But for today's demo, we'll be focusing on Looker, of course. And so this is what it looks like when you set up Looker. It's a really simple connection, right? You just enter your Looker instance's URL, and you have to create API credentials for the user who's going to be accessing it. Enter the client ID and client secret for those API credentials here. And then you're pretty much off to the races. A few other options you get with Looker is that you can choose to use credential pass-through, which means when people query via Delphi, we can pass through their credentials from their own Looker accounts so that they only have access to the models and explorers that they should be able to see. The other thing you can do when setting up Looker is you can actually choose which explorers you want Delphi to connect to. And the reason for that is because we've talked to a bunch of teams who sometimes will have like dozens or even hundreds in some cases of explorers, and most of them are not kind of business ready. They're not ready for the end user to query. And so this is a way of letting Delphi, only see the things that people should be able to access. And so with that, I will just show you kind of how Delphi works. So one nice feature of Delphi is that you can use it kind of as a bit of a data catalog via natural language. And so as a way to understand what's available for you in your semantic layer or in Looker. And so I'll ask it, for example, what info do we have about discounts? And so it pulls up the metrics that we have about discounts. It pulls up the dimensions that we have about discounts, discount price, the product that it's associated with, sort of when the discount was made. And so, that's a way without having to kind of either dig through your LookML or dig through an Explorer and Looker of understanding what's available to you. You could go even deeper and ask something like, what are some questions I could ask about discounts in our data? And it gives me some ideas of, queries I could run basically using the data that we have in Looker about our discounts. And so I'll actually just go ahead and run one of these to show you what it looks like when Delphi runs a query. And we'll do that over here in the Explore tab. I'll ask it this question it suggested for me, which is, what is the distribution of discounts by day, week, or month? And so you'll notice, first thing here is, unlike some of the other tools that have existed in the past, we're not, this isn't like a keyword-based query or something like that. We're not saying, show me discount ID by discount date, week, or something like that, right? We're kind of asking about discounts in natural language, in plain English, in the same way that someone on the sales team, on the customer success team might ask about their data. And so Delphi will tell us kind of a natural language answer about what we asked. And so it tells me the days that we had the most discounts, the weeks we had the most discounts, as well as the months, kind of the distribution and grouping by month. The other thing we can do here is we can actually build some charts based on the data that it pulled. And so you'll see when I look at the data that was pulled, we got date, week, and month, as well as the number of discounts in each of those groupings. And so, we could build a simple chart off of that, something like looking at the number of discounts that we had by week. And then, maybe let's color it by month. Some other nice things you can do here. You can see the query that was generated. And so this is, just a lookML query with some fields. It has the model and the Explorer that this is coming from. And then because everything we have here is a semantic layer query, and in this case, a Looker query, you can actually just, view this in Looker and use it as a starting point, even for exploring something in Looker. And so I'll log into our Looker instance here and show you, right? We pulled up this query that I just ran via Delphi. And then if I wanted to explore something further, dig into, the average discount, add some more fields, add some filtering, stuff like that, I can do that in Looker now. I'll show you one other query just to show you kind of some stuff we can do here. And so maybe I want to dig a little deeper into our discounts, and I'll ask it, what product types do we discount the most? And so if I look at the query that was generated here, or the data while it's loading the answer, you'll notice that it pulled the product's category dimension for me. And so I asked it what product types. It was smart enough to realize, okay, based on the fields that are available in these Looker Explorers, actually what we want to know is the category. And so the product categories we discount the most are underwear, blazers and jackets, and tops and tees. Gives me the average discount for those. I don't know what's going on with our underwear, but okay. And then, again, you can chart this if you want to. So I'll just do a simple chart category with the average discount amount, sort it descending, can make this chart a little bigger, and then we can save that. For other people in the company to come into Delphi and refer to in our saved reports. And then the last kind of really cool thing I'll show you is we have a really strong Slack integration. And so installing Delphi to Slack and giving people a way to Slack Delphi with their data questions instead of, Slacking a person is super simple, right? You just click here to install and then do some configuration. And so I'll show you what that looks like in Slack. Here we have Delphi installed in our Slack. It's connected again to this exact same Looker instance based on what we had set up there. Setup in Slack is really simple. You basically just enter those credentials that were on that last page. And then you have a few options here, which I can go into deeper if anyone is interested, but that's really just around, we know that data is a multiplayer experience, and we want the data team to be involved as much as they want to be in helping people out, validating their questions, and making sure that people are getting good results from Delphi and from Looker. So, the main thing you're going to do with Delphi and Slack is add it to a channel. This could be, the data channel where people typically ask their data questions. Alternatively, people can DM Delphi as well. First thing it will do is introduce itself so that people kind of understand what it can do. They can also pull up that data catalog that I was showing you. And then with this, I want to show you how Delphi can kind of handle a bit more complex queries than what we were looking at before. And so I could ask it something like, show me our sales this year by country. And I want you to look at it monthly and show the percentage growth month over month. And so here we're looking at a period over period analysis where we want to see the growth. It's not just pulling some kind of simple measures and dimensions. So it generated the query. Now it's running it against the Looker instance. And here's our answer. So it tells me our sales for the two countries that we have sales in here, which are the United States and the UK. It shows me those by month for this year. And then for each of those, well, what was the period? What was the percent change from the previous period? It also gives me kind of a little helpful text summary here. I'll highlight just a couple more things, fun things that you can do in the Slack integration. So oftentimes people want to explore their data in Excel or in Google Sheets. You can do that, download it as a CSV. Again, you can see the Looker query that was run. You can open it in Looker to explore further like we did before. And then you can also schedule queries if this is something that you want to run monthly, for example, or weekly. You can just say that every month on the 1st at 9 a.m. and choose a user or a channel to send it to. Then we also have this concept of thumbs up, thumbs downs, where if you need to refine the query or something, if it got something wrong or you just want something else, you can give it a thumbs down. In this case, it got this exactly right. And so I'm going to give this a thumbs up. And what that does is lets us essentially train Delphi based on the way that you ask questions in your business and the way that people talk about your data, and train it on a customer by customer basis. And that's how it gets better and better over time. Very last thing to note is that, as you all know from working with Looker in the modern data stack, sometimes you don't actually need a net new query to answer someone's question. And maybe that sometimes a dashboard or a look already exists and a business user just doesn't know where to look for it. And so Delphi can search those as well. And so if I say something like, show me our website analytics, well, this actually relates to a dashboard that we have in Looker. And so it can suggest that for me. It says, well, I don't actually need to run a new query for this maybe because you already have this in your web analytics overview dashboard. And so now the user can just bring this up and see what's available in the dashboard. Of course, if they want to look at something that wasn't here, they can always go back and ask Delphi for more information. And so that's really it for the demo I had. Overall, our goal is that, we hope Delphi will make it much easier for folks, especially non-technical folks and business users, to get value out of Looker or your semantic layer.